Yeah, so one Bernard Owusu-Techi or Bernard Ofosu-Techi, BOT, yeah, a former NPP member, now an NDC member, has donated a huge sum of money to the former president John Dramani Mahama, and I don't know, or we don't know whether this is to buy pressure for the NPP or not. But Charlie, at all cost, at all costs, he is trying to, show how supportive he is. He's trying to show a very huge support that he has behind he has for John Dramani Mahama. And in this audio, a whole lot were said. But I want you to join me. Let's go listen to it, and kindly subscribe to this channel, like, comment, and always stay connected. My name is Jimmy Ralph, and yeah, let's go listen to the audio. Fun time.
Bernardo Techi and Nere Jacqueline Techi Eddie NDC amanyoko majitafo bi enemy edi enda wonso and BOT joins NDC ye kasai wo mo de Ghana sika fofroi empem ha meche 100,000 Ghana cedis or 1 billion akoma ira John Dramani Mahama se won fanka de sika ho emon to wo mani to ne nata se de be ya NDC amanyoko no ebetumi aba be mu mfimpino ene aduonu nan abato no emo BOT se wo mo adoya wo peso ye no we ye de edi kan anase be kase first trench kraya wo mo de eba beboa no ne ku bekoso a no maboabo mo ho ano ababeta NDC amanyoko nachi amankunimdie aye won modia.
Since I'm joining NDC 14 December 2020 ade amahu NDC mo ne se NDC do nipa nyimu bia anim NDC ntiti nipa mu nti your form just a WhatsApp platform and nipa also just around 120 and the platform na nyina e nipa 800 the interest no kosro you decided say be adopt project say be fa 11 constituencies in Ghana. Sunyani West, Sunyani East, Brekum West, Mpoho, Domiko Abrenya, Fanteman. Na enobo tene se 11 constituencies ya adopted no. Yet emube kwa koye media and communication work. And to see a beko Chrome information center, radio station, just to boost publicity of the NDC agenda for 2024.
Na ira John Dramani Mahama ya neni sobro so ewo anamo ya wonuma tuwe wabra nesa ka check ni free BOT ni namfofo pe en watch se waya krado se wonu ombe ka batimo na omabodwuma se de be yankunimdie ebetumi aye wonmo dia no hye wonmo bo ese obehwa aboa bonwuma kwan e de ato wode ama mabunu titiw se kwabase tumi no ebedu ne ensem anaboa amoma yetumi asi kwan ya ye no eyimpunto kwan so.
Jobs automatically is the growth of the economy. If the economy is growing positively, it creates jobs in the system. But aside from that, you must think innovatively to see how we can shift from this mono economy where you just rely on a few things, cocoa, gold, oil. Today, those are the three things driving this economy. So those are the things we're looking at, and we're happy to work with people like you to see how we can, consolidate our democracy and also work towards the election of 2024. 2024 is not an end in itself, it's the means to an end, it's the stepping stone to be able to create the kinds of reforms that will make our country more competitive in the South region and be able to create opportunities for our young people.
We ye no to aso editu dwache se mampedi akufuado abo meyi fomu ase o meyi ama emebru ntiti wo mo da che ayi bibie wo ho enunti na babunu atise BOT ene dom e wo se wo mo ma wo mo homne so e sori gina wo mo na so ekonkoden se de beye na tumi betumi abedi NDC amanyuko no wo mo nsem e wo fie mpini ene eduonu nan abato a ye beto wo my Ghana emo.
We all know what is going on in the country. I mean, our nation has been brought down to its knees. This is the lowest point that we could ever have gotten. And so it is necessary for us to reset, I call it a reset of our country, so that we can create the platform, one, for economic growth, and also to set an example in governance that shows that, look, we can govern this country properly. Thank you very much. It's been a long ceremony, but I'm sure you've enjoyed every minute of it. And we are all happy that we're here today. Thank you, Reverend Wengam. I am always tempted to call him Pastor Wengam because he was my pastor, associate pastor, for your State of the Nation address. because he laid out everything that the church seeks to do under his new leadership. We thank you very much. And I also note something our former Chief Justice said. I'm seated next to her. And when you called out the directors and you prayed for them, he noticed that there was only one woman. And she noticed that there was only one woman. And she said, you men, if you even could make a man women's ministry director, you would have taken that position too. So we want to see the women come up, so that next time they call the directors, we'll see more women amongst you. For those of you who follow the news, you'll be surprised I'm here, because I'm supposed to be in Nigeria. And I was in Nigeria till early this morning. I say Pastor Wengam. Reverend Wengam, our General Superintendent, had invited me to be here today, and he had given me the date several weeks ago. And just last week, I got a call from President Jonathan, and he asked me to step in the place of President Bai Koroma, former president of Sierra Leone, who was supposed to lead the West African Elders Forum, but then had been co-opted by ECOWAS to lead their observer mission. And so he pleaded with me to come and lead the West African Elders Forum mission to Nigeria. And so I was in Nigeria until this morning. I had to fly in just for this ceremony. And if you don't see me shortly after this, it means I've flown back to Nigeria to continue my work. I'm not going to take too much time, and I'll just make 3 remarks. The first is about what I noticed change, and the second is what I think the church should be doing, and the third will be about acknowledgements to people who have helped build my spirituality. And so change is a permanent phenomenon that God created. When you say change and you say permanent, they are opposite to each other, because if something is permanent, it means it doesn't change. But change means things continue to transform. And so change is a permanent phenomenon, and it is what makes the world progressive. Because when change happens, then it means that you move things to another level. And I think that is what has been happening in Assemblies of God Church. We've had several general superintendents who have handed over one to the other. And currently we are witnessing a transfer from our general superintendent, Reverend Frimpong Manso, team to our new team headed by Reverend Wengam. It reminds me always of a relay race. Everybody runs a segment of the race. And when you run your segment, by the time you're getting to hand over the baton, your legs are tired. And so when you hand over the baton, you always see that the person who takes the baton runs at a greater speed. And so that baton has been handed over by Reverend Frimpong Manso after doing very fantastic work for the church. If there's one thing I can be proud of Reverend Frimpong Manso, is our beautiful headquarters building. Now, we don't feel shy to invite and receive any international visitors to our headquarters, because it can rival any headquarters anywhere in the world. And the baton has been handed over to Reverend Wengam, and when he was giving his State of the Nation address, he talked about the Centenary Village. And I know that some churches have convention centers and places like that, beautiful places like that. And I note the church of my former chairman, the Pentecost Church, have a very beautiful convention center outside Kaswa there somewhere. But I spoke with Reverend Wengam, and we conspired, and I'm telling Elder Ofosuampofo to tell Reverend Nyamiche that our Centenary Village is going to be bigger and more beautiful than your convention center. And may it not suffer the fate of some national cathedrals that I know. We shall build this one. And I'll be one of the chief fundraisers. So Reverend Wengam, send me anywhere to solicit funds. If I have to go on my knees and beg for money for the Centenary Village, I will do so. When Reverend Wengam was speaking in the State of the Nation address, or the State of the Assemblies of God address, he spoke about the church, contributing to national dialogue and being able to speak truth and to give guidance to leadership. The church does not exist only to pray for leaders. It exists also to provide suggestions and guidance to leaders. Because after all, the church does not hang in the sky. The church exists in society. And whatever happens in society affects the church. Today, with the economic crisis that we are in, it affects our congregation all across the country. And so it's necessary for the church to continue speaking out anytime it thinks that things are not going properly. And that's why I want to congratulate the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Church, Council for the recent letter that they addressed to government, giving some suggestions about what government should do in the midst of this crisis. And I expect that this should be done no matter which government is in office. There are many times when men of God and moral society who should speak up become quiet when one government is in and then become very loud when another government is in. We must be seen to be balanced, to be non-partisan. We must not shout "Jansa we're here" in one government and then go quiet in another one. We must always speak truth to whoever is in office, because it affects the lives of our congregation. And Christians must not be afraid to participate in politics. Recently, I gave a speech in Chatham House, and I said that the price that the wise pay for not participating in politics is to be ruled by fools. And so we, as Christians, should not shy away from politics. Stand for elective office, go to parliament, advocate, and participate in creating a sense of direction to progress and prosperity for your nation. And some of us are believers, we are Christians, and yet we will vie even for the highest office of the land. There's nothing in the Bible that stops us from doing that. And so I encourage all of you, if you have the possibility to be able to participate in leadership, please don't hesitate to do so. Then my third one is a few acknowledgements, and the first one goes to Reverend Wengam. I want to congratulate him. As I told you, he was associate pastor in our church for a long time. I'm a proud member of the Ringway Gospel Center, Assemblies of God Church.